We begin today with Kenya, where the situation has descended into chaos. Protesters breached Kenya's parliament building today. They set parts of it on fire and destroyed the furniture inside. Take a look.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm here to address you. You must go. Ruto must go. We don't fear you guys. You hypocrites. We don't fear you. Mr. Speaker, we don't fear you. Tuko ndani. We stomped inside.
But what prompted this? The protests had started peacefully today. Protesters were singing and dancing. Chanting that they were peaceful. So then what led to the Kenyan protesters finally losing their cool? Now reports say it was police brutality, like this. As usual, the police began with tear gas and water cannons. They've been using this against protesters for days. But today, the police allegedly resorted to live bullets as well. At least 10 people have been killed. Dozens are injured. Live rounds were fired at the protesters who had gathered around Parliament to demonstrate. They had gathered to urge their MPs to reject Kenya's new finance bill. But they were greeted with bullets. While the MPs voted for the new finance bill anyway. Now let's rewind a bit to see why this bill sparked the violence that you just saw. Kenya's finance bill is their annual budget. It is passed for the duration of a financial year, from the 1st of July to the 30th of June 2025. Kenya's parliament was discussing the next finance bill, the budget for 2024 to 25. And what they have come up with has angered the Kenyan people. Initially, they had proposed a slew of new taxes to generate $2.7 billion in additional revenue. The first draft of the finance bill proposed taxes on bread, cooking oil, motor vehicles, sanitary pads, diapers, changing a cell phone plan. Basically, these taxes would have affected everyone. About a third of Kenya's people live in poverty. And the country has been suffering for the past few years. Like most other countries, it was devastated by the COVID-19 pandemic. Then came the war in Ukraine, leading to a cost of living crisis. This was followed by 2 consecutive droughts and a depreciation of the currency, the Kenyan shilling. All of these factors combined have brought the people to a breaking point. And the final straw was the new finance bill with its unending taxes. This bill is championed by Kenya's president, William Ruto. Ruto came to power in 2022. And he has been raising taxes ever since. Now, this latest finance bill is a continuation of his policies. Ruto says that the new taxes are necessary, that Kenya needs the money, mostly to pay off debt. Kenya's public debt is at about 68% of its GDP. That is dangerously high. About 37% of Kenya's annual revenue goes into servicing these debts. And this problem has been made worse recently. Because of Kenya's depreciating currency, the debts are repaid in US dollars. So if the Kenyan shilling depreciates, the debt burden increases, which is exactly what has been happening. This is why Ruto wants to raise taxes, to reduce Kenya's debt burden. His plan has been endorsed by some of Kenya's creditors, most notably the International Monetary Fund. The IMF is a creditor. It wants to get its money back, so it has backed Kenya's new finance bill. And this has led to even more public anger. Some Kenyans felt that instead of working for them, Ruto was working for the IMF. All this anger culminated in the protests that you just saw today. Kenya's parliament met for the new finance bill's third reading. This had amended the original bill last Tuesday, removed some more of the contentious taxes. But for the protesters, the bill was already tainted. They wanted the bill rejected and a new one drawn up in its place. However, Ruto's ruling coalition has a majority in parliament. They rammed the bill through anyway, with 195 votes for and 106 votes against. The bill will now go to Ruto's office. If he signs it, it will become law. And looking at Ruto's track record, this is almost certain to happen. And that is why the protesters were desperate to get into parliament. They wanted to stop the MPs from sending the bill to Ruto. And that is why violence erupted at the Kenyan Parliament building today. Now, the levee has been breached now. The once peaceful protests have been marred by violence. And we'll see how the authorities react over the next few days. But Ruto should be wary. If he signs the finance bill now, the people of Kenya may never forgive him.
On the today, the T20 World Cup bandwagon has moved across to the West Indies. What can we expect